Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about a number of things, go over some recommendations. I had some questions from some patrons that I thought would interest my main channel. So the first question was, hey, how do you do it all? How is it you get everything done? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about knife recommendations, EDC carry knives. People asked about that. Butcher videos. People were asking about the butchering video that we put up recently. We'll talk about that. And do I have any videos on tanning hides? Animal hides, things like that. We'll talk about that. So before we get started on all of that, it's going to be a fun video. I'm going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to perfectpickler.com. They are the sponsor of my video today because they are a home-based company right here on the Homestead. That's right, perfectpickler.com is based at an American homestead right here deep within the Ozarks. You can get your probiotics and fermentation on by getting these master kits that are for sale over at perfectpickler.com. Perfectpickler.com. I just went ahead and started a new batch of some sauerkraut the other day, and I just opened it up a little while ago because just to make sure to check the water levels. But it was kind of fermenting up. It's beginning its process. It's just now starting to get cloudy up on here at the top, which is what you want because that's the forming of the mother. And I opened it up and I was like, ooh, this smells so good. So I'll be looking forward to that. We usually eat about, a small cup, maybe a tablespoon or two per day for our probiotics. It's a very easy system. It's load it, lock it, and leave it. Very easy system. They've been in business since 1994. We acquired the business this past year, and my oldest son, Joshua, is now running it from the Homestead. And I'm promoting it on the channel because I want it to succeed. And we're going to be attending some homeschool conferences and some other events throughout the year, and we'll be promoting this as well. So, perfectpickler.com if you want to get yours started. Guys, those probiotics that you're selling at the store, way too expensive. You have no idea how good they are. Wouldn't you rather have probiotics that are way more effective and way more healthy and a lot cheaper that you can do at home? So, check it out, perfectpickler.com. All right, getting into the question from a patron who actually posted it on my main channel comments. I thought it was a good video, and other patrons have asked the same question, and some of you all too. Let's go ahead and look at the question and we'll get into it. How many hours a day do you have your children devoted to school, and how much of that time are you sitting there? I live in the middle of nowhere and there are no children around me, so the only time she has to spend with the kids is through preschool. I'm really in awe of the people who homestead and homeschool their kids, and I don't understand where they find the time to do all of it. If at all possible, I would like to know what your schedule in the day looks like and how you go about handling everything from animals to vegetables to schooling to cleaning to family time, etc. Again, I don't know how much livestock you keep or how large your vegetable garden is, but it seems pretty extensive. I mean, I have 3 cats, a dog, chickens, and a 5-year-old to take care of, and I'm overwhelmed a lot of the time. Do you have help? I am honestly just looking for some guidance. Actually, I could spend an entire video on this. The reality is I don't get everything done that I want to get done. I juggle and I try to find the things that are most pressing, the most important, and concentrate on those first. Obviously, school and my kids come first, and I try to, they're right now in there working on school, and we're using, again, the Homeschool hub from Bob Jones University. We're doing English and English reading, science, some science and history through them, and then my oldest son Joshua is using Apologia for science for his classes. And they have an online program as well that includes workbooks that you can do. And you just kind of go through and you check off their stuff and you kind of oversee. The Bob Jones thing has a homeschool hub where you can it's a dashboard where you can kind of log in and just see everything at a glance. Very simple to use, very easy. The kids seem to be doing okay with it. For math, we use teaching textbooks, and they're doing okay with that. They like teaching textbooks, and then we're using also some French courses through talkbox.mom, so for some foreign language exposure and stuff like that. So anyway, it's like that's my main priority. And then other stuff like, how do I do it all? I work as best as I can. I try to make a priority. Being organized is probably your best friend. And I've been making notes recently. We're going to come out with a video soon on staying organized. Lists are a great help. Actually writing things down and keeping a written documentation of things you need to do. That helps you so much. It's a tremendous help in staying organized. And then there's just, like you mentioned, cleaning. Like, I try to keep the home tidy and organized and picked up. But I could use it. The house could use a deep clean. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of embarrassed, but no one really, when they come over, looks all that close, at the cracks and nooks and crannies, and I could use a deep clean in the house. I have not done that in probably a couple of years. So, but you just prioritize as things. When fires pop up, you put those fires out and you go on. And you do the best you can. So am I behind on some things? Yes, but you juggle and you do the best you can. Homeschooling is not that hard. You can, even as a single person, you can do the homeschool. It's way better option than putting your kids in that public school system. Everyone's going to be different, but I know it's harder for single people because you have to have a job. And for me, my job is at home, and we have multiple revenue streams that we use and utilize to pay bills and things like that. Do I have help? I have a tremendous amount of help when it comes to my in-laws, Jamie's parents, who live with us on the homestead. They have their own house across the way there. And every day at lunch, the kids go over there to eat lunch. And it's a simple lunch, like grilled cheese or some kind of thing, they put together. And, they eat over there, okay? And so it's like they'll go over and eat there, and that gives me time to continue working throughout the day. And then I make dinner every night for the kids. So it's like we kind of, I have help. I have a tremendous amount of help. But just understand that not everything gets done. And that's okay. You just have to be okay with that. But you need to be focused, be organized, because you want to get the most done that you possibly can. So it's not just, sitting around and be like, oh well. No. I get up every day. I have my 1 cup of coffee per day, and I get going. And I try to get as much done during the day as I possibly can. Okay. Moving on from that, I had someone ask me about knife recommendations, daily EDC, everyday carry, when it comes to a pocket knife, because I mentioned that in a last recent video. And, people talk about all these expensive knives that are out there. I am not one of these people who buys a really expensive knife, okay? I got this one. It's an open assist, and it's called Tack Force. I got that on Amazon, Tack Force. And I don't know if you can tell, but I sharpen that a lot. It's got some wear and tear on it. You can see it's been, it's got some wear and tear on this thing. I've been using this for well over a year. I use it every single day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't cut something with it or, do something with this knife. Okay. It's not a kitchen knife. I have kitchen knives for that. But I use it for opening boxes or cutting cords or, working on whatever I'm working on. Probably use it in ways I shouldn't. But I use it every single day, and it gets lots of use. And I sharpen it all the time. I sharpen that. You can tell it's a little bit sharp, and it probably needs a little bit of a sharp, but it's sharp. And then it's like it's got a serrated blade. And I got all these people out there who are like these macho infantry Green Beret people, and they're like, I would never use a serrated blade. Here, let me tell you something, okay? The reality is I was in the infantry too. Okay, I've been in the infantry, and I know that even when I still have the knife that I carried every single day in the infantry, and I use that almost every single day like I use this one on the Homestead. Knives go dull, okay? The reality is, and I saw somebody who was going through their everyday carry bug out bag the other day on YouTube, and they were carrying like 2 or 3 sharpening stones in their gear, like on their LBE and in their pack. You've never been on a road march. Because I guarantee you, once you go on your first real road march, you'll be throwing stuff out of that pack left and right. And let me tell you something. When your knife goes dull, you'll thank God, the creator of heaven and earth, that you have serrations on your blade. Because you'll still be able to cut stuff. Whereas these people who are like, because those ounces make pounds, okay? And so when you got these, I'm not carrying a sharpening stone in my pack. I'll sharpen it when I get back to the rear or whenever I get to somewhere that has a sharpening stone, because I'm not going to carry that. That's too many ounces. And when you've been on your first road march, when you've been on your first field exercise, and I'm talking about a real field exercise, you're going to be like throwing this stuff away, and you're going to want a serrated blade that will still cut stuff at the end of the day. And I'll tell you another thing. I butcher a lot of animals. It's what I tell people. It's the best skill I have as a homesteader. And when I'm cutting up a lamb or when I'm cutting up a deer and I get to the breastplate, I've made the incision, I've gutted the animal, and now I got to cut through the breastplate. of a young deer or even a young lamb, even a year old or two, that thing will cut through the breastplate of a ram, at least 2 years or younger, or a deer 2 years or younger. That'll cut right through it. But your Mora or your straight blade or whatever ain't gonna make it. I'm telling you right now, ain't gonna make it unless you've got that thing razor sharp. Now, if you've been in the field for 2 weeks and you've been using that straight blade, that Mora or whatever else, and you don't have a sharpening stone on, you ain't getting through that breastplate. This will get through it every single time. I have always been a big believer in serrated blades, and it's because I spend time in the field. And I know what it's like to not have a sharp knife on you. And I'm not going to carry a stone with me. Just not doing it. This is another cheap knife that I've been using. So like sometimes I'll lose this knife. That's another thing too. I'm not spending money on a knife that's going to cost me $200, or $100 or even $80. I remember one time I had a Columbia River, whatever it was, the CRKT or whatever it's called. $80, lost that thing. Oh, I'm still broken up about it. It was a nice knife, serrated blade. It was a nice knife. I'm like, I'm not buying any more. I buy cheap Gerbers, okay? This is a cheap Gerber I bought on Amazon or eBay or somewhere. And I bought it probably with a pack. You can tell it's been used. It's kind of retired now. But whenever I lose this or I misplace this one because of laundry or whatever, is going on, I'll pick that one up and I'll put that in my pocket. And that serrated blade, look how worn down that is. That'll still cut through the breast of a 2-year-old deer. Guaranteed. It'll chop that sucker right up. So these people. Spend some time in the field. I mean, in the field. Like when you're sleeping with your gear and you're hauling your gear. You're humping your gear. And you'll be throwing stuff out that don't matter left and right. I'll sharpen that knife one another day and I'll carry a serrated blade that will always work. Okay, I probably spent way too much time on that. Butcher video. Some of you guys, they knew I put up a butchering video on our Patreon page. So we just did a butchering of 3 steers over in Oklahoma. I got it all on video. Not all of it, but it's over a good 30-minute video of butchering this and putting it all in a meat locker. Fantastic video, very informative. And people asked where that was and can it be downloaded? Yes, I just put the download link over at patreon.com. Find that post over at Patreon and you can download it to your computer and save it for a later day. Okay, you don't have to have the internet. People asking, can I get a download link? Yes, it's there over at Patreon. And do I have any videos on hide tanning? So I have a good amount of experience tanning hides. After college, I came home and I basically tutored under a guy who did a lot of trapping. And he took me under his wing, and I got like a whole bunch of beavers, a whole bunch of raccoons. I never got a coyote that year, but I basically worked for him for an entire year, and I talk about that in the butchering video I just posted. Anyway, do I have videos on tanning? Yes, but they're not that great. So here's the reality: I've done a lot of butchering. I've done a lot of trapping. Okay, in my life, I feel like I'm pretty good at it. However. Because I was tutored under someone who was really good at it, and he taught me a lot, and other people have taught me a lot. But I'm not a trapping channel. So if you want to learn that, go find a trapping channel that specializes that, and there's a lot of great instruction out there from people who do it all the time. This is one of the beavers that I trapped back in the day. Really nice small pelt. This is a small pelt. I did a lot of these things. I had about over a dozen of them. Sold them all. And got top dollar for them back in the day. But you can tell, like you can see the little holes there. See the holes along the edge there? Those holes, I hooped this one, and then I stretched the hide. And then once it was dried and everything, I sent it off to, I think it was at USA Fox and Furs. And they will tan it for you. And they use a chemical tanning process. And there's lots of different tanning processes you can find out there. You can use borax, which I know a guy around here, he recommends highly using borax. You can use the brain tanning method. You can use the oak tanning method. There's all kinds of tanning methods, and there's lots of natural methods, and there's lots of chemical methods. I don't know what is best. It's really kind of up to you and what your situation is. If you listen, in my opinion, from what I have seen in the past, the ones that give you the best overall consistent results are the chemical tanning methods. Okay, but they involve some pretty harsh chemicals. So if you, and there's a reason why people do that today, is because it gives you a very nice, consistent product all the time. It's up to you what you want to do. If you want to do some brain tanning, or you want to do some oak tanning, or if you want to do some borax, borax would probably be a chemical too, but it's not as harsh a chemical. I've seen some good results with all of those methods, but I don't see consistent good results with all those methods. You're going to have to figure out what you want to do. Isn't that a really nice pelt, though? That's a really nice pelt. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that as a thumbnail. So, anyway, nice. It's one of my favorites. I got some really good raccoon ones, too, and some others. Anyway, all that to say, when it comes to tanning, learning how to tan, the fleshing beam that I used was called the Blue English system. If you look up on Google, the Blue English fleshing system, I don't know if they still sell it. You might be able to find someone who makes it, or you might be able to find a used one. Absolutely the best fleshing system that I have used. And I've used some different ones. That's the best. Anyway, all that to say, let me know what you think. If you have any questions about stuff like that, leave a comment below. I try to concentrate on answering questions for my patrons over at patreon.com. So if you're a patron, feel free to send me a question. I'll try to do a video on it. I got a bunch of questions saved up from patrons that I'm going to get to, but that was some of the latest ones. Quick side note, I've had a number of you recently send me information that there's a new Chicken Run movie coming out. And I was like, oh, cool. I like that first Chicken Run movie. It was kind of like, they painted the chicken people out to be really bad people and how horrible it is to eat chicken and all this stuff. So it's got some wokeness in it, but it wasn't really woke. But this time, if you remember the first Chicken Run movie, I think Mel Gibson was one of the voices in that movie. And now they have removed him. They didn't want to bring him back because he's too far right, And so they had to, I'm very much assuming, I'm not looking forward to this movie. I'll be interested to see what the reviews are, and maybe I'll watch it just to see how woke it is. But it's, in my opinion, based on some of the things that the producers and executives have already done at the outcome of this movie, it's going to probably be pretty woke. What do you think? Are you looking forward to a new Chicken Run movie? Well, lots of chicken owners out there. It's kind of fun. These chickens are trying to escape their doom. And it kind of relates, back and forth to the dramas that, occur here. When I look at my chickens often, and probably you do too, and you're like, man, there's a lot of drama that goes on in my flock, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below if drama is going on and is always happening in your chicken flock as well, like it is going on in mine. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the new Chicken Run movie. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be woke? What do you think? All right, guys. Hey, check out our merchandise over at teespring.com. You can find our Stupid Shit Hurt shirt, our best-selling shirt of all time. If we had more hurt in this world, we'd have an awful, awful lot less stupid. I think we can all agree on that. And also, check out our merchandise over at perfectpickler.com. Get your master kit and get started making your own probiotics at home today. All right, guys. See you next time in the homestead. Bye! If you've watched my channel, you know that I'm a fan of owning precious metals in times of economic turmoil. The reason being is because I'm an avid reader of history. One of the biggest objections to buying precious metals that I get goes something like this. Why buy precious metals? After all, you can't eat gold and silver. Actually, this is incorrect. Never has there been a time throughout all of human history where a producer of food has turned down the use of gold and silver when trying to make a sale. Never. Not once. Gold and silver have always been used when fiat money fails, and fiat money always eventually fails. There are countless times in history where governments hard up for real money took silver and copper coins from the past and then placed a countermark on the coin and then placed that old coin back into circulation. It didn't matter that it was an old coin of a different time and place. What mattered was the metal content. In the 1820s, the farmers in the German town of Natzheim would find Roman silver denarii so often in their fields when plowing that they would save them and use them to buy beer at the local tavern. In the 1840s, around the French town of Usure, Roman silver and gold coins were so numerous that people used them to pay bakers, butchers, and other merchants for their food goods. These are coins that were long gone in official circulation from the Roman Empire, but people used them anyway to pay for food even above their own official state-issued currency. Yes, you can eat gold and silver because gold and silver always buys food. If you have fiat paper savings banked away and you want to find a more historically reliable way to safeguard that wealth, This website can help you. AmericanGoldEscape.com gives you information and a way to reach out so that an expert can help you and show you how to escape. We are over $33 trillion in debt and rising rapidly. There is no saving this sinking ship. Visit AmericanGoldEscape.com to learn more. Linked in the description below.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.